Our first speaker today is Nick, and he has learned that contest speeches evolve. Earlier, he delivered his first draft of his winning tall tale to this club. He took our feedback and made the speeches better. Nick is superstitious, and today he will use the same formula to recreate his magic. The speech is Persuade with Power from an Advanced Leadership Manual. The title of his speech is Happy, and the timing for his speech is going to be 5 to 7 minutes, Mr. Time. So please help me welcome Nick giving Happy. Nick, happy.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and yes, do you remember when the country was happy? Do you remember when our politicians actually got along? I remember the 1980s, President Ronald Reagan and Speaker Tip O'Neill, two men at opposite ends of the political world. But when the country was in trouble, they put their differences aside, they came together, and they got things done. Today, our politics has grown bitter. It is steeped in venom and vitriol and blame. I don't even watch the evening news anymore. All I would see is Republicans blaming Democrats, Democrats blaming Republicans, liberals blaming conservatives, and conservatives blaming liberals. And the problems grow worse, and the country suffers. Abraham Lincoln told us that sometimes we must think anew. Well, today, I would like to propose a radical idea whose time has finally come. The creation of that long-needed fourth branch of government. This office will bring hope to replace fear, and cooperation to replace conflagration, and sanity to replace stupidity. No longer will we have to blame each other for the nation's problems. We can now blame the scapegoat of the United States. I know what you're thinking. How is this office going to work? Well, I've got that all figured out. The person who holds this office must be chosen by the people. The problem is finding candidates to run. I mean, who's going to want to be the nation's scapegoat? Now, I struggled with this. The only fair solution, a national lottery of deadbeat dads. 10 of them will be selected at random, but only one will be elected GOAT. Now, I'm a political junkie. I can't wait to see this campaign. Can you imagine the slogans that we'll hear? Marty for martyr. Freddie for fall guy. Billy for goat. Patsy for Patsy. And my favorite, vote for me, the guy with the goatee. And then the campaign will end, and the people will go out and vote for their goat. But in this election, there is a twist. The candidate with the fewest votes wins. A bit of irony, but I really need to make certain this guy is a loser. His inauguration will be a National Day of Atonement. Wearing a bell and bound in chains, he will be brought to Washington on a leash, and he will be mocked and flogged. But one perk of the office is that he does get to choose his flogger. He will be cast out to wander in the wilderness bearing the burden of the nation's blame. and he will be welcome nowhere. In New York, they will swear at him. In Texas, they will hunt him. And in California, they will fling flip-flops at him. He'll have no Secret Service protection because his term will expire when he does. And then we have another election. Now, meanwhile, back in Washington, our politicians have decided to stop blaming each other. They're actually going to get together and solve our nation's problems the way they should be solved, in my opinion, on cocktail napkins. And then, when they're done solving the nation's problems, they're all going to get together and watch The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross and learn how to make beautiful trees. I just love trees. But most importantly, America will now have its scapegoat, so we can all get back to being happy. Mr. Toastman.